So folks, can everybody hear me? Yeah, okay, I'm seeing a few head nods. So we're going to get started now in a moment. Before we start, we're going to ask that everybody please keep their mic muted unless you're speaking. That prevents feedback. You can certainly feel free to share your video if you wish. And I'm going to share a slideshow, go through a number of things with you. So my name is Shauna Matthews, and I'm an advisor here at Grenville campus. There's two advisors that work in the registrar's office, myself and Derek Jackman. Derek's going to be overseeing the chat in this session today. So I'm just going to share my screen here with you. Just bear with me. See if this works. Okay, can you folks see the slideshow now? Perfect. Okay. So we're going to talk about academic advising, and that academic advising is a very important part of your academic success. So we're going to start with talking about where you can ask questions. So in today's session, the chat box is open. It's open for you to ask any general type of advising questions. We ask that there be no specific questions regarding your personal academic situation. This is a public forum. We will be recording this session, and it will be posted on our website at a later date. So we just ask for privacy reasons that you not post or ask questions related to your personal academic situation. There will be places for you to ask those questions in a more private manner. We will have general questions, so if you don't want to ask questions in the chat box, you can ask questions at the end of this session. If you have non-advising type questions, so if there's things you're wondering about but you're just not sure where to ask those questions, you can email the info account, so info@grenville.mun.ca, and we will be happy to help you out there. And so questions regarding your specific academic situation should be asked in a private setting with a private advisor. So we're going to go through, and first thing we're going to talk about is who is your advisor, because that's the big question. We'll talk about what advising is shortly, but everybody wants to know who their advisor is. So every student will have an academic advisor from their first day of classes right until they graduate. So if you've decided on a program and you're declared in a program, your program chair of your major will be your advisor. If your program's really large and the program chair can't advise all students in that program, they may assign you to a faculty member within your program. So if you're doing a psychology major, and you know that right now, then your advisor will be a faculty member within the psychology department. You can reach out to the program chair to find out who that is. If you're not in a specific program, this year, because of the remote learning environment, all students, first-year students who are not declared in a program, their advisor is going to be a staff member within the registrar's office, so either myself or Derek Jackman. So the question then is, how do you reach your advisor? So there's a couple ways to book appointments. So if you're in a program, how you reach out to your program chairs, you will contact them directly at their email. If you are not in a program, you can book an appointment with myself or Derek Jackman by visiting the academic advising page. That will tell you who your program chair is, but you can also email info@grenville.mun.ca to find out who your program chair is. To book appointments with myself or Derek, you can go to the My Grenville webpage, or you can call the registrar's office, and I have that information on the following slide. So again, the breakdown is if you're in a program, your program chair or a faculty member within your program is your advisor. If you're not in a specific program, then myself or Derek Jackman will be advising you. So here's who your advisor is. So I've listed the programs, the degrees that Grenville campus offers, the majors, along with the email addresses. So if you see your program here on this list, I would suggest you write down the email address associated with that. I'll leave this slide up for a few moments so you can do that. That person's going to be your program advisor, provide you your advice on your academic requirements for your degree. And if you stay with that program for 4 years, then either that program chair, or if a new program chair takes over, will be your advisor. Again, for students who are not declared in a program, You might know what you want to do. It might be a St. John's program, might be something else. We're going to ask that you use one of the 3 ways to book an appointment with myself or Derek. Those are, you can use My Grenfell. So My Grenfell allows you to go in and actually book online yourself with myself or Derek. You can call 637-6298, which is the registrar's office, to book with us, or you can email at info@grenfell.mun.ca. All of our appointments throughout the fall will be done either over the phone or through virtual appointments if you'd wish. There will be no in-person appointments during the fall semester. So again, if you see your program here, we suggest you write down the email address associated with that program. So the question is, what is academic advising? What's this all about? So academic advising is a process where advisors will help students from the time they first inquire or look at attending the university right through to their graduation. And we work closely with faculty and staff, and advising strives to do a number of different things. We want to ease your transition to university. This is especially true this year in this online learning environment. We want to help students progress through their degree requirements. So sometimes degree requirements can be a little bit complicated or confusing, and so we want to provide some clarity for you on that. We want to help you understand what the policies and procedures are within the university. There are certainly different rules within the university that you may not be familiar with or used to, and so it's our role to help you understand those. We want to act as a liaison with you between your program and other campuses. So for example, if you're a student attending Grenfell, but you're trying to get into pharmacy or education in St. John's, we can certainly assist you with that and put you in contact and liaison with the St. John's campus to help you in that process. We definitely want to connect you with resources on campus. This year is a very different year for us, so we're definitely going to still want to connect you with a lot of the supports that are on campus that are being offered virtually. And so we ask that students come see us or contact us, reach out to us. Don't come see us this semester, you're not allowed to, but contact us. If you're running into any difficulties, we can certainly help you and point you in the right directions of different supports. And then assist you in setting goals, making informed decisions. So I tell students all the time that my role is to provide you with as much information as I can so you can make the best informed decision you can about how you're going to proceed through your degree. Okay? So then we break down what is a student's responsibility and what's an advisor's responsibility. So both parties have a part to play here. So for the advisor, it's their responsibility that they understand the regulations of the university, that they understand the degree requirements. For faculty members, they should have office hours, whether or not be virtual office hours or whatnot. And so it's their responsibility to be available during those office hours. They have to assist students in developing long-term academic plans, so helping you figure out where you want to go and how to get there. Have a general understanding of the academic processes. So there is a fair number of processes within the university. That includes adding and dropping courses, requesting a degree audit, waiver of degree regulations, those types of things. And so understanding the process of how a student goes about requesting those things. And then oftentimes they need to, they may not always have the answer, but they need to be willing to direct you to the appropriate resource to deal with any issues that they may not fully be able to help you with. And so they need to be able to say, I'm not sure, I'm going to point you in the right direction. So as a student, you also have some responsibilities. So your responsibilities are to schedule and attend regular advising sessions. We will not come hunting you down. It is up to you if you come and see us. We are here to help you, but we're not going to sort of come find you. We're going to ask that you come to us. We ask that you prepare for your advising session. So to make sure you get the most out of your advising session, it's good to come with questions that you've previously thought of and potentially written down. So make a list of your questions. Oftentimes a student will come to my office and they won't have their questions written down, and they'll leave my office, and 20 minutes later I get an email from them saying I forgot to ask this question and that question. And so it just helps us all if you come with a prepared list. The other thing is make sure all your questions are answered. If we answer a question for you and you don't understand it, tell us. we'll explain it in a different way. It's important to make sure that your questions are answered and that you understand the answer to those questions. If you don't, it just causes confusion and whatnot. And you have to understand that your advisor is going to provide the most accurate information they have, and they're going to guide you, but ultimately you are responsible for your academic decisions. So if you decide to do something, in line with what the advisor suggested or not, at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to take ownership of your decisions. So that's the student responsibilities. So one of the biggest questions we've gotten this summer is about around workload and course expectations. And so I'm just going to touch on this briefly so you have a bit of an understanding with classes starting tomorrow of what it may look like. Now, I have had a number of inquiries today around students concerned that their courses are not showing up on their Brightspace shell yet. Some courses may be available early, but other courses may not be actually uploaded to Brightspace until tonight. So classes technically don't start till tomorrow. So if you're missing some courses on your Brightspace shell, don't worry about that right yet. Check back tomorrow, they should be there. So this semester is a unique semester, as you all know. So every course is a little bit different and every student's a little bit different. So any of the things that I say here are not, firm for everybody. Everybody learns in a different way. Everybody takes in information in different ways, those types of things. So the amount of work that you're going to need to do in each course may vary depending on the type of instruction, depending on your area of interest, depending on your background, those types of things. So a general rule of thumb that I always share with students is that for every hour you spend in class or in a lecture or whatnot, is that you should spend at least 1 hour outside of class working on or studying that material. Now that's a little bit unique for this semester because some courses are completely online and have no in-class sessions. Some of the remote courses are only having 1 live session a week. Typically for a 3 credit hour course, unless it's a lab course, you would typically spend 3 50-minute sessions in class. So if you think about it in that sense, general rule of thumb is for every class that has no lab, you should be spending a minimum of at least 5 to 6 hours per week on that course. For a course with a lab component, your lab is typically 3 hours a week, and then there's usually lab reports and whatnot. So we recommend that lab courses should have a minimum of 9 to 10 hours per week per course. So time management may be a challenge for students this semester, so this is a really good guide to help assist you in planning out your semester to ensure that you're putting the appropriate amount of time and work into your course. The other big thing is that communication with your professors is going to be key. If you're going to miss an evaluation or a deadline, you really want to start that dialogue with your faculty member early. Fire them off an email. Let them know that you have a medical appointment that can't be missed, and so you're going to miss an evaluation, and work with your faculty members on that. Communication with your faculty members is going to be a huge contributor to your success in your individual courses. So don't be afraid to start that dialogue with them early. So academic supports. So how are we going to support you in this process? So your professors really are your first line of support. So sometimes students come to me about an individual course, and I can certainly try and discuss with them and provide them with different strategies and skills to help them be successful. But for actual individual courses, your faculty members really should be your first point of contact. They're the subject matter experts. They know the content of the course. They know the expectations of the course. So again, really start that dialogue with your faculty members early. We wanted to make you aware of the Learning Center. So the Learning Center is a support service on campus that offers a wide variety of supports to students, including things like study skills, note-taking strategies, time management skills, test-taking strategies. They also provide programs such as peer tutoring programs and math corners, supplemental instruction, which is where they supplement the instruction that you've had in class with additional instruction. These services are continuing in a virtual environment. And so we suggest you follow the Learning Center on Facebook to keep up to date as to what they're doing. There's also math and writing supports, which are part of the Learning Center, but I've pulled them out separate here because they are often one-on-one individual supports in the areas of writing and math. So Bev Young and Teresa Janes are doing those. Teresa does math, Bev does writing, and so you can go into your My Grenfell and actually book off individual appointment times, the same as you would say with an advisor, with the math IA or the writing IA, to get help and support in the areas of math and writing. Academic advisors, we've talked a little bit about what our role is. We have counseling services as well, which is remote this fall, but again, fully being available to students. And there is, not on this slide, but we also have the ACES Center, which is students, the Accessibility Center. So students with any accessibility issues, students with disabilities should certainly reach out to ACES so that they can provide the appropriate support for you to be successful in your academic journey. So you folks have probably heard a little bit about these, but I just want to touch base because classes are starting tomorrow. Any student who is doing a lab science course would have had to register for Science 1807 and 1808 before you could register for your lab science course. Science 1807 and 1808 must successfully be completed by September 23rd, or you will be removed from any and all of your lab science courses. So we often tell students you really should try and get it done before the first day of classes. It doesn't take a huge amount of time, maybe an hour, hour and a half to complete it. It's online on your MyMon. Excuse me. So it's really important that you get that done. We don't want on September 24th for you to discover that you've been kicked out of your physics or your biology class because you didn't do your lab safety course. So make sure you get that done. Integrity 1000 is a course that's mandatory for all new incoming students. It's a first-year course, touches on things like plagiarism and academic dishonesty. It's you have a little bit more wiggle room when you can complete this. We do recommend you complete it prior to the start of classes, but recognizing that that is tomorrow, you may not get it done by then. What you need to realize is that if you do not successfully complete Academic Integrity 1000, by the time we assign registration times for the January semester, you will not be assigned a registration time. So we will withhold your registration for the January semester until you actually complete the Integrity 1000 course. So you sort of want to get those two things out of the way before you are diving deep into your credit courses. Exams. There's been a lot of questions about exams this semester. So midterm exams are scheduled by your professor. So this information should be shared with you in your course syllabus. If you miss a midterm exam, or if you have to miss a midterm exam, you need to contact your professor to discuss it. There will be no in-person exams outside of potentially within higher level nursing courses at Grenfell campus this semester. So final exams are going to be scheduled by the registrar's office. The exam schedule is released hopefully by late October. It's going to be communicated with students. We'll probably share it by email, but it's also going to be sent out on your Memorial self-service. Any issues with the final exam schedule, you need to communicate with us within the registrar's office. You can reach out, and if you're unsure who to contact, you can contact your faculty member and they can reach out to us. As I mentioned, there'll be no in-person exams for first-year students at Grenfell. I will tell you, so that you're aware, that Grenfell campus does have a rule that for final exams, you're not allowed to have 3 exams in 24 hours. So if you do get your exam schedule and you have 3 exams in 24 hours, you certainly let us know and we'll make arrangements so that you don't have to write 3 exams in 24 hours. So course registration for January. We've had this question a number of times as well. Right now, you've only registered for the fall semester. Course registration for January is going to take place in November. You're going to be assigned a specific registration time, just as you were this summer. And this time is going to be emailed to your @MUN email account, and you can also view it on your Memorial self-service. These times are usually released early to mid-October. So it's advised that you select your courses for the January semester in consultation with your advisor. It's also strongly suggested that you do not wait until the day or two before your registration time to contact your advisor and discuss with them. As you can imagine, we have a lot of students reaching out to us and contacting us around their course selection. And so the earlier you reach out to us, once the course availability is up for January, the better, the more timing you have for planning and whatnot. If you find out that your friends have a registration time for January and you don't, there may be a couple of reasons for that. The most common one is that you haven't completed the Integrity 1000 course. The other reason may be if you have outstanding fees, you may not be eligible to register until your fees are all paid. So just so you're aware of those few things. So degree versus major versus minor. So we've had some questions from students who don't fully understand the difference between what's a degree, what's a major, what's a minor. So a degree is sort of the overarching umbrella. So if you say Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Fine Arts, that's your degree. And then oftentimes your degree is broken down into a major and a minor. Sometimes it just has a major. So your major is your primary study area. It's typically 12 to 18 specific courses. And there's a list of majors here, provided that these are the ones that we offer at Grenfell campus. A minor then is your secondary study area. So a lot of degrees at Grenfell are coupled with a major and a minor. A minor is typically 8 specific courses, and there's a wide list of minors that we offer at Grenfell campus here as well. So some degrees may just be a major, while others will be a major and a minor. Some degrees may have an optional minor, depending on which degree you choose. So one of the other big questions that we usually get from first-year students a couple weeks into the semester is, what's a GPA, or how do I calculate my GPA? So a GPA is a grade point average. So the quick way to calculate it is what we call your points divided by your credit hours. So typically your courses are going to be 3 credit hours each. So if you're doing 4 courses, you've been given 12 credit hours. You're doing 12 credit hours. Then your points will be determined based on your grades in those courses. So if you get an A in a course, you're going to get 12 points. If you get a B in a course, you get 9 points. If you get a C in a course, you get 6 points. If you get a D in a course, you get 3 points. So you add up your points for the semester, you divide that by your credit hours, and you get your GPA. Our GPA is based on a 4.0 scale. So this is here, again, we're going to record this so that if down the road you're like, I remember she told me about calculating my GPA and I can't remember what she said, we will post this online so you can refer to it later on in the semester. The other is academic warning. So we're going to hope that none of you folks end up on academic warning, but we're going to talk about it just in case some do. So academic warning happens when, for the very first time, you don't meet what we call our continuance requirements. So the university has specific rules around how you need to be performing academically to continue studying within the university. And so what the university says is that you have to have an average of 50% in the courses that you are registered for in that term, or you have to have a cumulative average above 55. And so a cumulative average is all of the courses that you've done to date. So if you get academic warning, so if you fail to get the 50% in the semester, or you fail to have an overall average of 55, you will be given what's called academic warning. And it's just that, it's a warning. So we're just sort of telling you that you haven't met our continuance requirements, but we're going to let you return. So you will be permitted to return to class the following semester. However, it really indicates to us that, and to you hopefully, that something needs to change for you to be successful. And so then you would work with your advisor to make adjustments, be it to your course load, come up with a plan in terms of study skills, tutoring, those types of things, to help you be more successful. If for the second time you don't meet these requirements, then that's when you may get, if for the second time you don't get it, you could get what's called a required to withdraw. And so, like I said, hopefully none of you end up in this boat, but just so you're aware, if you do get academic warning, the first time you get academic warning, you are permitted to return to class. So this is the important dates for the semester. I'd encourage some of you to take a shot of this with your cell phones so that you have it, because your course outlines are going to be filled with a lot of individual dates for your courses. But this is sort of the semester dates. So classes start tomorrow. Fees are due tomorrow. Any fees paid after tomorrow may incur a late fee. You have 2 weeks into the semester to make changes to your timetable, add and drop courses without any academic or financial penalty. However, after September 23rd, you can no longer add a course, and if you drop a course, that is the deadline to drop a course and get 100% of your tuition refunded. Wednesday, September 30th is the last day to drop an undergraduate course and receive 50% tuition refund. October 7th is the last day to drop a course and receive a 25% refund. October 12th and 13th, which is Thanksgiving weekend, you have a midterm break, so you get a couple days off of class. And then the Thursday and Friday after that midterm break is when students sometimes get a little bit confused. So on Thursday, October the 15th, your lectures are actually going to follow the Tuesday's schedule. And on Friday, October 16th, your lectures are going to follow the Monday schedule. And so that holds true even in the virtual environment. So you're going to want to pay attention to that. Monday, November 2nd is when registration starts for the January semester. Wednesday, November 4th is the last day to drop a course without academic prejudice. So what that means is that's the last day for you to choose to drop the course. After that date, if you wish to drop a course, you need to have extenuating circumstances to do so. We've got the Remembrance Day holiday in there on November 11th. Lectures end Friday, December 4th, and then exams are from the 9th to the 18th. And then on the 23rd of December, grades are going to be released via Memorial Self-Service. So that's a quick rundown of the important dates for the fall semester. So that's me talking for almost 30 minutes. That is sort of a snapshot of what you can expect. And we're going to open it up now for some questions.
How do we log on tomorrow?
That's a great question. So most of your courses should be on your what's called your MyMun. So if you've set up your MUN email account, you will have a login for your MUN email. That's also going to be your login for your MyMun. So if you go to the Memorial University website, up in the top right-hand corner, there's going to be a little box that says log in. When you click on that, there's going to be a link there that says MyMun. Click on that. You can put in your username and password. It's going to be the same username and password that you use for your email. So when you get into MyMun, you can check your email in there, but there's going to be a button in there that says like view courses or launch courses or open courses, something like that. And you click on that, and that's going to list all of your online courses.
Okay, thank you.
And most of your remote courses, unless you've been told otherwise, your remote courses should also have a Brightspace shell.
So I can access it from just the MUN homepage?
Correct. Just from the MUN homepage.
Okay.
Perfect. Luke, I'm just going to ask you to mute your microphone if you're done asking your questions, so somebody else, thank you, can pop up. Anybody else have any other questions? So somebody just asked, are we able to declare a minor if our degrees don't have a required minor? That's a question for you to discuss with your advisor. Some degrees, a minor is not optional, while other degrees don't have a required minor, but a minor is optional as long as you can fit it in your total of 40 courses. So that's something you'd want to speak to your advisor directly about. Somebody just asked, is the MPT mandatory to complete for being put into a selected math course? There is no MPT or math placement test this semester. They are doing a math, I believe in your math courses, a math screening tool just to sort of assess students and their math ability to help you out to make sure you're in the right course. But there is no MPT. I'm sure you folks got lots of questions starting tomorrow. So fire them away. Ask, turn on your microphone and ask if you'd like, or put them in the chat box. If your microphone is on and you're not asking a question, I just ask that you mute your microphone, please, so that we don't get any feedback. So the library is also operational. I should mention this as well. Even though we're in a remote environment, the library is still operational. And so you can avail of their supports. They can help you with things like, finding articles. They have, a lot of great resources around writing supports and those types of things. So you can always reach out to the library. They're still checking out books and all those great things as well. So you can avail of the library even though we're in a remote learning environment. Any more questions? Did everybody get their contact information for their advisor, or would anybody like me to go back and repost that slide with the emails? Go back, please. Okay. Let me go back for you. Oh, that's the wrong slide. Hold on. Can you see that? Okay, hold on.
Look, change flights, huyu anachungulia nje. Huyu anachungulia nje.
Again, if you have your microphone on, I just ask that you mute your microphone. We can hear a few people talking there in the background. So I'm going to see if I can share this now. Okay, there we go. That way people can view it. So again, these are the advisors. If you're in a declared program, you can write down the contact information for your advisor here. If you're not in a declared program, there's 3 ways to book with myself or Derek via the My Grenfell app, by calling 637-6298, or by emailing info@grenfell.mun.ca. Okay, any other questions? So let's see, how do we, so Derek's trying to answer some of these questions, but I'm just going to read through some of them here now. When are fees due? So fees are due tomorrow, the first day of classes. If you pay them after tomorrow, you may incur a late fee. So if you're interested in a course or a program at the St. John's campus, I'd suggest you email advice@mun.ca. If you're attending Grenfell for the first year and then moving to St. John's for a specific program in your second year, you can reach out to myself or Derek, or you can contact the St. John's faculty that you're applying to directly. How do we access labs? Labs will be how you access them, and the format in which they will be delivered will be discussed and communicated to you via your course instructor. So they should communicate that with you through your Brightspace shell or through your course outline. Well, overlapping courses during this semester have much of a negative impact on your intake of information during class. If you're missing live lecture sessions, so if 2 of your classes are being held in this type of environment, then yes, you're going to miss some content. If your classes have overlapping time, but they're not live lectures, they're recorded lectures, then that may not be so bad. I'd certainly suggest you have that conversation with your faculty member about that overlap. So that you can ensure you don't miss vital information or evaluations for that matter. Somebody asked, so all of our courses should have a Brightspace shell unless otherwise told? Yes. So there are some courses that are not having Brightspace shells, but my understanding is the faculty members would have emailed the students about that. If I'm still waiting on a student loan, what should I do? I'd suggest you contact our bursar's office on that. It's not uncommon for student loans to be late. And they're quite used to dealing with that. If they can check to see that your loan is in the process of being processed, then typically you wouldn't incur late fees, but you should check with the bursar's office on that. Where do we go to check our fees and how much we owe? So if you log on to Memorial Self-Service, under the student main menu, there's a link there that says financial information. Under the financial information link, it will say view account summary by term. So you would put in the fall term and it will give you a summary of your account and all of your fees. Let's see. Yes, this is being recorded. What's the email address for the bursar's office? Derek, maybe you can look that up and post it there in the chat. I don't know if you talked about Integrity 1000, what the course is about, and does it count as a credit? Okay, so academic integrity, I did mention it is a non-credit course, but it is mandatory. If you do not complete it, you will not be given a registration time for January semester. It's on plagiarism, it's on academic dishonesty, those types of things. For those residing in Canada, we were instructed to opt out of the foreign health insurance. Having done that, are we required to pay the fee prior to September 9th? If you are an international student who is living in Canada, or if you're an international student who will not be coming to Canada, and you have questions about the international health insurance, I'd suggest you email international@grenfell.mun.ca, and they will be able to answer that. Derek's provided the email here at tobrien@grenfell.mun.ca for the bursar's office. When you're writing in university in class, there are a number of different ways, formatting guides for writing, such as APA or MLA. Your instructors will indicate to you which format they want you to write in. They will tell you that. How could I access the academic advising page? Derek has just shared that. How do I access Brightspace? So to access your Brightspace shell, you have to log on to your MyMun, which you use the same login information that you would for your email, your MUN email. You log on to MyMun, and then there's a button in there that says launch courses or view courses or online courses or something like that, and you'll see your Brightspace shell. Your lab instructors will talk to you about how your labs work. So that's important. I also want to mention the email situation because some students get confused about email. You as a Grenfell student will have 2 emails. You already have your MUN email, your @mun.ca email account. That is for all information that is pertinent to all Memorial University of Newfoundland students. So things like your registration time, the important dates that I shared, those types of things. But you will also have been given an @grenfell.mun.ca email account. And that email is specific to Grenfell campus students. You're going to definitely need to be either checking both, or there is a way in which you can forward your @mun email to your Grenfell email automatically. So that's what I've done. I don't check two of them, I only check one. But anything sent to my @mun email automatically gets bumped to my Grenfell email. So if you're wondering how to do that, I would suggest you email ITS, which is our information technology systems, its@grenfell.mun.ca, and they should be able to provide you instructions on how to forward your @mun email to your Grenfell email so you don't have to be checking both. But it is important that you either check both or you have your @mun email forwarded so that you only have to check one, because I can promise you will miss important information if you're not checking both. How do you know if your degree requires a minor? That's a discussion for you to have with your advisor. So that will be a conversation you would have, whether or not a minor is required, optional, or non-optional. Any more questions? When classes follow different weekday schedules, like after the midterm break, when it follows Tuesday instead of Thursday, the following day, would it be Wednesday or would it be? So the St. John's campus is the same thing in terms of the change of the schedule. So it's only the days mentioned. So in the schedule that I put, if they say Thursday follows Tuesday and Friday follows Monday, it's only those 2 days in which they state it. Once those 2 days are done, it goes back to a normal schedule. I think the what about the St. John's campus question, I could be wrong, but I think you might be asking about the minor or degree requirements. If you're doing a St. John's degree and you're wondering if that degree has a minor, you'd need to speak to the department in St. John's. The other thing, which is a big question that a lot of students are asking, is when a decision will be made on the January semester. There has been no decision made yet. We have been told that a decision is anticipated to come within the next month on the January semester to give students lots of notification as to how we are proceeding with the January term. But as of this moment, no decision has yet to be made. So. Any other questions? The biggest piece of advice, there's lots of advice I can give. The biggest piece of advice will be to, if you have questions, ask them, get them answered. Don't sit at home wondering. It's really important to get your questions answered. So somebody said, my schedule on self-service is showing 2 courses without time, so when they will be added to my schedule. So courses on Memorial Self-Service that don't have set times, so if you view your class schedule and they don't have any set times, they certainly sound like they would be online courses with no specific class time. And so they would still have a Brightspace shell and they would have weekly requirements and all that, but they just wouldn't have set specific class time. Is this orientation just for Grenfell campus? This is an advising session for Grenfell students. If you are a St. John student and you've joined us, then you would need to contact advice@mun.ca for information about academic advising in the St. John's campus. Somebody says, I missed what you said about labs. Lab information will be shared with you through your course. Each lab may be run slightly differently. I don't know exactly how each individual lab is being taught, and so that will be communicated with you through your course syllabus, your course instructor, those types of things. Anything else before we conclude for the day?
Will every class be like this, or will some of them be not on video chat?
So that's up to the individual professor. how they're running it. So some professors may run it like this. Some professors may not do this at all. I think for the most part, a large consensus is that if they do it in this format, that they will be recording it so students can revisit the content. Some courses are not going to have any live lectures at all. It really is going to vary during the fall semester. Once your courses are available for viewing tomorrow, the first thing I suggest you do is review the course syllabus for each course. So what the course syllabus is your course outline. It tells you what your evaluations are, what your required texts are. It should cover what you're going to do each week. It'll cover the format in which you're joining or gathering, so whether or not it's this format or something else. And so I think once you have your course syllabus for your courses, you'll have a much better understanding of what your courses will look like.
If you have to miss a lecture due to a doctor's appointment or like a family matters, what can you do if you missed an exam or a lecture because of that?
Sure. So if you know in advance, you should always contact your faculty member, your professor, and start a dialogue with them around the fact that you will be missing either a lecture or exam. Certainly you should reach out to them and see what sort of accommodations they can come up with. If it happens to be a family emergency that you cannot give them, notice of, then again, you need to contact them, email them as soon as you can to start that dialogue. If it is a final exam, there is a process within the registrar's office that you must follow to defer your exam if you happen to miss it for an unexpected extenuating circumstance. Somebody says, where do you sign into your Grenfell email? Oh, I think I skipped a question. I'll come back to it. Where do I sign into your Grenfell email? If you go to the Grenfell website, up in the top right-hand corner, there'll be a link that says e-resources. If you click on that, right at the bottom, it's going to say student webmail. Click on that, you can log in. The login, once we all get back to normal and get back to campus, that login is also going to be your login for all your computers on campus as well. So we'll tomorrow follow a Wednesday schedule. One of my courses scheduled for 11:30, but the class doesn't open on Brightspace until 12. So yes, tomorrow is Wednesday, so it will follow Wednesday schedule. I anticipate that your course will open tomorrow at 12:01 a.m. would be my guess. So I suspect if you check back tomorrow morning, your course will be open. Yeah, I think I've covered all the questions that are there. Anything else? Have you folks found this useful? Has this provided some answers to some of your questions? I hope so. The big thing is, again, if you have questions or concerns, reach out to your faculty members. info@grenfell.mun.ca is a great resource. You send us an email. If we don't have the answer, we will put you in the right direction of somebody who can. Okay? So I'm going to stay on here for probably another 4 or 5 minutes to answer questions. But that's it from my end. So I thank you all for coming and wish you the best of luck in your term.
So I have a question. Canadian and American English is slightly different for writing. Is there a standardized way I should be writing American
Okay.
for
So
classes?
you would need to ask that of your individual professors.
Oh, so specific. Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. So somebody said, so if some of your courses haven't shown up in Brightspace, will they show up before classes? Typically, your courses in Brightspace would not show up on Brightspace until midnight or technically 12:01 on the day in which classes begin, which is another, 10 hours from now. So some professors may have asked that their course be put up early. A whole bunch of professors haven't asked for their courses to be put up early. So don't panic if your course is not showing right now. It should be there tomorrow. Anything else? So I think we'll end it there. Oh, looks like a couple people are typing though. I'm not sure if they're typing in the chat box. I'm going to clue it up now. Again, info@grenfell.mun.ca if you have any questions. Oh, how do I find out which textbook I need? Great question. So if you go on the Grenfell website, right now there's a banner that says Your Grenfell Experience. If you click on that, it will give you a book list for the fall of books that we have been made aware of. Note that not all faculty members have notified us of their books, so there may be some courses that haven't listed anything there yet. Certainly when you log on to your Brightspace shell tomorrow, then your course syllabus should certainly list what books you are required to get. The great thing is with the Your Grenfell Experience website is that not only does it tell you what book you need, but it will also advise you on where you could purchase it. So it gives you that advice. Where do I find my grenfell.mun.ca login information? If it should have been emailed to you at your @mun email. If it has not, you need to email its@grenfell.mun.ca. So you won't need textbooks for your first class. No, don't stress about having a textbook for tomorrow. Not one bit. Anything else? Okay, well, thank you for your time, everybody, today. I'm glad you found this to be useful. And again, ask questions, make sure you go to class, make sure you're putting the work in. Remember, if you're not in a lab course, you're talking 5 to 6 hours a week per course. If you're in a lab course, you're talking 9 to 10 hours a week per course if you wish to be successful. Somebody asked about the Grenfell Computing account. So the email, the login that you're going to get from Grenfell Computing will access your Grenfell email account. It will also give you access to the computers on campus whenever we can come back to campus as per usual. So if you want to use any of the computers in the little computer labs or libraries, if you want to print on campus, those types of things. So that's what it will be used for. Anything else? Okay, so best of luck. Don't forget to get your Science Safety 1807 and 1808 done if you're in a lab science course. Make sure to get academic integrity done. I don't want to have to be emailing you in a few weeks telling you still don't have it done. Get it done and out of the way. Ask lots of questions. Have a good term. And we wish you the best of luck. Take care.